Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to episode 4 of The Letter. Today, I will not be using a face cam because I just don't wanna. And I might not use face cam, maybe in the future if I can kind of get it all a little situated and sorted out a little bit better. But I won't be for that today. Let's see. I might actually change something here. Let's see. Let's look at my video. Yeah, we'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks. We'll continue from our last saves, shall we? Ah, yes, we're in the movie theater, and we have to decide if we want to.
We'll go with whatever you want.
I don't know.
We need to figure out if, should we go with the priest or the professor? Well, usually everybody goes with the, priest. But if I go with the professor, everybody will think I'm, like, insane. So we'll go with the professor.
I'll think about it, but if ever, I'd like to give talking to Andrew a try.
God damn it, I always gotta auto this shit. Oh, hold on. Let's look at my journal. Undiscovered journal entry. Timeline. It's just new. Oh. Profiles. Really? Isabella's Filipino? We're not on good terms with Rebecca right now. Oh well, who cares?
Won't he have other things to do?
He is a bit busy, but he'll make time for me. He's my go-to person when I'm stuck in something. He won't mind if I bring a friend with me this time.
If you're sure.
Guess that settles it then.
Guys, I said keep it down. You keep insisting that we still watch it. You're not even paying attention yourselves.
It ain't a big deal, Rebecca. I'm the one who broached the subject in the first place.
It's still your film, Zachary. A good film, mind you. You worked hard on this. The least we could do is watch it with you.
And that's what you're all doing. I really appreciate all of you making time for this.
Sorry, Becca. We'll stop now.
I throw an apologetic look, even if Ash is the only one she should be reprimanding, but her attention is already back on the screen. She's ignoring us again. When Becca's acting this way, there's a big chance something's nagging at her. We really need to talk. We all fall into a comfortable silence after the kind only you could share with people you're most at ease with. For the first time today, the letter lays forgotten in my bag, if only for a few hours. Night has fallen by the time we exit the movie house. Despite the late hour, the streets are still bustling full of people, those about to head home, those set to meet someone, and even those simply wandering about. Walking in the sea of unfamiliar souls, it strikes me how easy it is for one to get lost in a city as non-discreet as... What? I was afraid to at one point back when I was new, had just set foot in this place. Now, with familiar faces walking with me, it feels a little like home. Zach and Ash bid us goodbye shortly before Becca and I crossed the other side of the street, the former claiming he's got a few freelance jobs to take care of before the day's end, and Ash, who knows. Sometimes he'll just randomly appear at your doorstep looking for a place to crash. He does that to Zach a lot, but he's a busy guy too, in spite of the laid-back air he gives off.
Thanks for today, everyone!
No problem, Zach. I'm sorry for what happened earlier.
Help me. Help me. A sensation. Cold, sickening, drowning, my chest tightening, breathing becoming labored. I can taste blood in my mouth. The edges of my vision blurs. In the distance, amidst the countless nameless people going about their lives, a voice reaches out to me. Help me. pleading even as I clench my eyes tight and clasp my hands over my ears. Whispering and whispering and whispering, calling out.
No, not me.
Somebody.
Isabella? Earth to Isabella?
At her voice, the whole world suddenly snaps into place, the murmur's gone. When I open my eyes, Becca raises an eyebrow at me in question.
Weren't you listening? Are you coming with me?
Oh, yeah. Just, okay. Sorry, I spaced out.
You always do that.
I follow her without complaint, but not before sneaking a glance to the far end of the street, where the voice came from, where another set of eyes might be staring at me. Nothing. There are only Zach and Ash watching over us as we head back to where Becca parked her car. If I'm expecting to see something or someone there, I try not to let it show, try not to think of the tiny pinpricks of fear crawling at the pit of my stomach.
Yeah, see ya.
Another glance, and with a final wave, we go off on our own ways. I don't know what I saw, I don't know what I heard, and I don't want to know. And if that's what would help me sleep tonight, what would give me back the normalcy in my life, then so be it. October 22nd, Saturday. The darkness closes around me, grasping, pulling, engulfing me. The ground caves in, and without warning, I'm falling. My eyes snap open, and for an instant, it does not immediately register where I am. Hold on. Let's take a look at this room, fam. All right. So we got you can't see my cursor at all. So on the left hand side of the screen on the bed, we got a little bat cat. We got a piece tank top, and we got a sheep. It's 5 a.m. Up over by the left hand side, we got a picture of what looks like a family all the way on the far left, a picture of Isabella and Becca, and then a picture of Becca, Ash, Zach, and Isabella. We got over... we can kind of ignore the dresser. There's a little crate next to it, that blue crate with a bunch of noodle cups in it. And some a t-shirt and some undies on the ground, a television on top of a refrigerator. I don't know if that's the smartest idea. A lot of noodle cups again, and yeah, some stuff. You know, I'm not very attracted to girls who like to leave a mess everywhere. Clean that shit up. Both my back and shoulders ache after I've fallen asleep all hunched up the night before. Drenched in sweat, the nest of pillows I often keep around me feels more suffocating than comforting. I let my eyes adjust to the bright morning light streaming through my window and allow my breathing to slow down before untangling myself from the pile. I haven't had a single dream since coming to Luxembourg, or at least none I can recall having. It's a shame because they used to be so vivid. Not the crazy vivid, but the more pleasant kind I'll tell my siblings about. Maybe it's just the stress of living alone? The knowledge that I'll always wake up in an empty apartment with no one to tell stories to?
What time is it?
Habit forces me to look over at the clock, even with the soreness weighing heavily on my shoulders and the compulsion to never leave my bed for the day. ... In a heartbeat, I'm up.
Man. Of all the times to oversleep. Towel? Where's my towel?
Admittedly, it's a weekend, as an unspoken rule that entitles me of extra hours of sleep, but if Rose didn't kill me yesterday, she sure as hell will now. Dude, it's 5 o'clock. And right after what happened, oh lord, 1 box of donuts as peace offerings won't be enough for the second time around. Grabbing my towel, I'm already a few short steps away from the bathroom when I hear a muffled ringing breaks out from my bag. There's a moment of indecision at first, my mind conflicted whether I should just ignore or answer it. But what if it's Rose? Or worse, our boss? Ah, sheesh. In the end, the rational part of my brain wins out. The letter from yesterday peeks out when I pull the device out. Just the sight of it's enough to put me in a foul mood, and it takes every force of will for me to ignore it in favor of answering the call. Mama. It's around 4:45 p.m. in the Philippines right now.
An unusual time for them to call.
Usually it's around noontime here, and I'm the one calling, not the other way around. Better for them to use the money on something else than an international call. Regardless, in the most cheerful tone I can gather.
Hello? Grace? How are you?
Mama! I'm doing okay. How are you guys over there?
We're good, we're good. EJ won a storytelling contest at school the other week. Brought home a medal. I thought you should know.
There's a tired lilt in her voice as she speaks. It's been there since Papa had to leave his job. I wish there's something I can do for her. But from miles away like this, the least I'm able to is not make her worry. If only my older brother would actually lend her a hand, but Lord knows if that'll ever happen. Odds are Kua and Jordan. Oh, okay. Again, I can't count on my older sister either, knowing she has a family of her own, and well, Aunt Anne's financial situation isn't exactly great right now, having ran herself knee-deep in debt.
That's great! Tell him congratulations from me. And let him know I'm gonna send him a little something extra this Christmas. How about Nico? Karen? Michael? I hope they're okay?
They're doing well. They wanted to talk to you, but they're all busy with school.
Oh no, that's fine. I don't want to bother them. Just tell them to keep doing their best for me. I'll just call back when I know they're not busy. And Papa? How's Papa doing?
It's a subject I'm a bit hesitant to broach. From the way Mama's voice hitches, she doesn't want to bring it up either.
Papa. Grace, he's having a little difficulty right now. Weak appetite, he's having trouble swallowing, and lost a few pounds. But the doctor said we should keep encouraging him. It just means his body's accepting his new treatment well. The money you sent last time helped a lot to pay for it, by the way.
Oh, I see. That's good.
I won't deny that life has gotten tougher for her family. It used to be easy back when Papa was in good shape. But ever since he was diagnosed with the sickness 5 years ago, he has been able to provide for us. Now, the burden of feeding 8 mouths and settling Papa's bills all rest on my shoulders. Although Mama makes a little, accepting sewing and laundry jobs in her neighborhood, it's scarcely enough to cover the costs of day-to-day living, let alone the bloating hospital bill. Can't even expect help from our own government because of health insurance that barely covers anything.
I'm sure he'll get better soon. Is he well enough to talk? Do you think I'll be able to speak to him, Ma?
Silence. I start to think that the call got cut until...
Listen, Grace. Maybe it's better if we transfer Papa to a different hospital. Somewhere cheaper?
What? Why? Did something happen? Is it the deposit issue again? Give me the hospital's number. I'll talk to them.
No, it's nothing bad. The service here is good. Too good. Even the doctors. But I'm worried you're working yourself to the ground because of it.
Mama, we've been through this before. I want the best for Papa. And don't worry about the bills or the medicine, or me for that matter. I can handle myself. Everything's going well here. In fact, we're about to close a large sale.
Hopefully. If not, then I'll find another way. She doesn't need to know that. Sorry, Mama. You taught me not to lie, yet look at what I'm doing.
I'll have money to send over soon to cover the rest of Papa's treatment. And there's more than enough for Karen, Nico, Michael, and EJ's school tuition, too.
Thank you so much, dear. I appreciate it. We all do. But I just wish you'd come home to us soon.
Ah. Kailin Kua? When are you coming home? EJ, the youngest, used to be the only person asking me that. How do you respond to a question you don't have a definite answer to? 5 years later, and I still can't give them a straight one. I smile, though Mama can't see it, and I fight to keep my lips from quivering, my voice from shaking. She's got enough on her plate as it is. No need to weigh her down with unnecessary concerns.
You'll be there to welcome me when I do, okay?
Of course. I'm sorry, Grace. I need to take this for a while.
There's a small commotion on the other end, the sound of gates opening, the voice of a child, EJ, talking excitedly about his day at school, the tapping of feet on the floorboards as in return. It's been years since I went home, but I can still picture the whole scene in my mind. How tall is he now? Are the neighborhood kids bullying him now that I'm not around? Did Mama rearrange the furniture in the living room again? What are they having for dinner today? I miss them. I miss them so
It's
much.
okay, Ma. I need to go too. I've got work today. I'll call again soon, alright?
On a Saturday? Oh, never mind. Take care of yourself, dear. I love you.
I love you. Bye.
It ends with a soft click, leaving half-truths and empty promises hanging in the air. Closing my eyes for a moment, I take a deep breath and shake away the thoughts beginning to swim inside my head. It's pointless to mull over these things right now. Don't open my eyes.
Okay, Isabella. Time to get that mansion sold.
Fortunately, before I can take a single step away from my phone, it rings again. No doubt Mama forgot to say something. No, it's Rose.
Mama? Did you forget anything?
Excuse you? I'm too young to be your mom. Are you still sleeping? Hold on, never mind that. Get yourself in the office. Hurry!
Office? What about the open house? Oh no. Is it Sir John? Did he hear about yesterday? Am I in trouble? Oh god, oh god, oh god! I'm gonna get yelled at, aren't I? What do I do? I'll buy you an extra box of donuts if...
No, it's nothing like that. Will you calm down? Get yourself here, alright? I'll tell you everything then.
There's a telltale din of several feet shuffling against wooden flooring and an indistinct yelling in the background before Rose cuts the connection. That isn't in any way comforting, but it's enough reason for me to hastily discard my phone and finish my shower in record time. I make it to our office within 20 minutes of leaving my apartment complex, a feat if only on account of my usual travel time. Routine clamor, Common de Brer Realty Corporation's Luxembourg office greets me as soon as my foot crosses the threshold. Papers rustling, telephones ringing at sporadic intervals, agents knocking at varying.
Where are my employees? What the actual fuck, guys? Of all the times to disappear without notice.
My boss's words turn muffled as someone else closes the door to his office, likely the work of our HR manager. Throughout the past weeks, he's been in a bad mood over a few employees who have failed to report to work. I hear they're still trying to get a hold of them, but to no avail. The result is half their workload have been shifted to all available staff, so as to not lose credits. Not that I mind the extra work. If anything, it means I'll have more to send to my family back home. Although the rumors of a branch closure circulating because of this is indeed a bit worrisome. My bag barely touches the top of my table when Rose pulls me aside.
Here, I need you to help me with these papers. If you could also get these signed and photocopied before lunch today, that would be great.
One after another, she thrusts a bunch of paperwork in my hands without explanation. A page flutters away from the top of the pile, and I lean down to pick it up, my eyes scanning the top of the page as I straighten. A purchase and sale agreement. Rose simply gestures her thumb in the direction of our visitor lounge when I tilt my head in question. There, seated on the sofa and looking completely out of place as the humbly decorated room, is the same couple from the day before, the Wrights. Something bubbles up in my throat. Their presence in the office can only mean one thing.
They're buying it? We got a deal?
She swats at my hand, tugging her sleeve, although her eyes are alight with something akin to joy. She wants the sale to happen as much as I do, and now that it's here, the deal needs to be closed, yet documents need to still be signed, but the elation is there, along with a foreboding feeling I can't quite pinpoint.
Damage control, but they're already interested in acquiring the property, even before they attended the open house. I mean, isn't it obvious? They already hired an interior designer. I've never seen a buyer as aggressive as Madam Wright. She didn't even try to negotiate a lower rate.
One at a time, Rose. I can't process everything you're saying at once. What do you mean?
They're paying 15% higher than the listing price, as long as we get the paperwork done as soon as possible. I think if we allow it, they'll be paying up front, too.
Even with that urban legend?
Rose nods.
I was so sure we lost the sale after yesterday.
Don't look so surprised. We still have to conduct some last few checks before we completely hand it over to them.
Nah, just give it to him.
I'll happily do the paperwork duty, Rose. I'll even go to the land registry myself and make sure the property changes hands with every single legal blessing.
Don't they have better things to spend money on? I'd haggle it down to the lowest possible price if I were in their place, especially with the stories attached to it. Not that my opinion matters one bit here. We're just their agents who are going to receive the hefty commission after all, nothing more. Rose gives me a pat on the shoulder, signaling that she's heading back to them and an unspoken instruction for me to follow after I'm done. It doesn't take me long to finish what work she left me. In fact, having our boss sign the agreement is the easiest, since it has put him in a better mood to the entire office relief. Ma'am Hannah calls me over the moment she notices my presence at the lounge door. Her lips are twisted in a frown. She doesn't seem particularly happy to see me, and I'm not surprised. Who wouldn't be? I almost created a scene. Mr. Wright, however.
Why, if it isn't a little Lily. I trust you're feeling well now.
It's Isabella, sir, not Lily. I appreciate your concern. I'm feeling better now.
I really don't understand why they can't get my name right. It's a fairly common name. Shouldn't be too hard to remember. Regardless, I hand them their copy of the agreement.
I can take that. Thank you very much.
With how elegantly she plucks the papers off my hands, it's easy to think that there isn't any trace of irritation in her. But it is there, radiating in her stiff stance, in the way she's standing at a fair distance from her husband, how the two of them look to be ignoring each other. Seeing the scene, it soon becomes clear to me that I'm not the one here who put her in a bad mood. Did they fight? Most probably. I've seen it happen dozens of times with my previous clients. It's a shame, especially with their new mansion. I never did like it when my own mama and papa fight. I hope they'll make up soon. Apparently satisfied with what she's seen, Ma'am Hannah claps her hands together before extending it to us for a shake. Rose and I release the breath we've been holding, both of us more than happy to return the gesture.
Are you really sure about this property, ma'am? We could easily find you a bigger one among our current listings. Something with a modern touch?
Something not haunted, perhaps? Rose shoots me a warning glance at Cody, says, "Don't make a scene, we're almost there." Yeah, shut up, Isabella. You fucking idiot.
Wouldn't I be? The house is absolutely perfect, isn't it, darling?
A helipad would still be a nice addition.
Yes, well, we'll get there eventually, love. As I was saying, if your partner had the documents yesterday, we would have bought it right there immediately. Shame she didn't have it.
Well, there's still a few necessary documents we need you to sign after, but we'll let you know once we have those finalized. We'll be handling the process for the rest, so don't worry about it, ma'am.
Within a week, I hope. We still have a housewarming party to plan, after all. You know how much thought we put into those things.
There are servants for that, darling.
Love, servants or not, you're going to make people listen to your input nonetheless.
No more than a week, ma'am. Barring unexpected delay, of course. You can leave it to us.
Excellent. Well then, I'll leave you two to it. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. Oh, and before we forget...
She discreetly folds something into both our hands and winks, a finger raised to her lips demanding our silence.
What happened was quite unfortunate, but you did get us what we wanted in the end. That, at the very least, is commendable.
But this is... Ma'am, I can't accept this.
Don't you worry, darling. It's a small thing coming from us. Consider this your bonus for a job well done.
She smiles sweetly like this is simply the most normal thing to do in the world.
Oh, designer would appreciate it if you hand her a copy of the floor plan as soon as possible. She's dying to work on the house. You can do that, yes? Here's her contact.
Certainly, ma'am. We'll have it processed as soon as possible.
I knew I could count on you, lovelies. I hope to see you two soon so we can get this closed.
Just like that, transaction over and done with. My mind still reeling after they've left. Other agents would kill to have clients like them. Part of me feels lucky about the fact. No lengthy negotiations, no sudden change of minds, just talk, signatures, a few handshakes here and there, and we're done. The other parts? A second ago, we sold a haunted property to 2 innocent clients. I don't think they're innocent. I think they know. Sure, the commission's big, but big enough to continue funding Papa's treatment and hospitalization, big enough to pay for all 4 of my younger siblings' schooling. Heck, it'll keep me away from my instant noodle diet for months. I don't have to go back to the mansion as well once the deal has been closed, much to my sanity's relief. But knowing that something in there, we gave it to the good couple despite that? Nah, they know. Oh, Isabella, the things you do to sell a house to get money, Papa won't be happy with that. At least I have good news to tell them next time I call home. The little lie I told Mama this morning isn't a lie anymore.
Well, there's something. So how does it feel?
How does what feel?
Your first big multi-million-pound sale, silly. I know you've been with us for years, but this has got to be memorable for you.
Memorable is an understatement, Rose.
Come on, show some enthusiasm. They gave us a bonus, too, aside from the commission and the other bonus boss promised. What are you gonna do with it?
I don't know. Send it home, probably?
All of it?
Not everything, of course. Most of it. I'll leave some for my living expenses.
Listen here, Isabella. I'll teach you something I should have told you before we ended your training.
She slings an arm over my shoulders and leans in closer to my ear, as though she's about to share a big secret.
It's okay to celebrate from time to time.
I don't get it.
It's simple. Go out, do something for yourself. Throw a party and treat your friends to free food. Didn't you say the last one's some sort of tradition back at home for you? Hello, this is practically a done deal.
Isn't throwing a party a bit excessive?
Your call. I won't say no to an invitation, by the way, in case you really are planning to throw one. A few drinks would be nice too, thank you very much.
I don't think my apartment's big enough for that.
You could always move? Bloody hell, you're working in real estate.
I think I'll pass. That's too much of an unnecessary expense for me. But I did promise Becca free lunch in case the sale goes well.
You go do that. Hold on a sec.
She quickly removes herself from me to answer the phone on her desk. Her tone shifts from playful to professional in the span of a few seconds.
Today? Not a problem, ma'am. I could bring you a copy of the contract if...
Must be another client. Nothing surprising there. She's one of BRC's top agents no matter how modest she appears. Saleswoman through and through. I, on the other hand, have very little knack for it. Of course, I learned eventually. I had to. But someone else will, without a doubt, do a better job. Once, though, in a drunken stupor, Rose told me a story of what could have been. Years ago, wide-eyed, young, and brimming with yet-to-be-fulfilled dreams and ambitions, she was a term or two away from a nursing degree. Out of courtesy, I never pressed on the matter further, but perhaps it's where the sense of fondness, a small connection due to one similar experience in our respective lives, goals we both let us pass by. Oh my god, I can't read this fast.
I'll be there. Thank you.
New client?
Reassigned. Have you heard from Mark at all?
Not since the first visit to the mansion. Why? No news from the HR yet?
None at all. Boss thinks he ran away. I doubt it, though. He's too much of a wimp for that. There must be another reason. Who knows? Anyway, I've got to meet this one. I'll see you later.
She throws a wave over her shoulder as she rushes out of the office. The lunchtime bell sounds shortly after, followed by the chatter of fellow agents also heading out for a much-needed break. Ordinarily, there's no need for me to go out, but oversleeping didn't allow me the luxury of packing my own lunch today. If one considers taking an instant noodle cup from my pantry, packing your lunch, time to make good on the promise I made to Becca, I suppose. Maybe invite Zach and Ash too? In the end, only Becca and Zach show up. Ash, on the other hand, couldn't be reached. All my calls. He's on it again, right here today, gone the next day. Oh well, his loss. We have agreed to meet at a nearby cafe, the same one I frequent with Becca because it's cheap and they give away free bread around closing time. Quaint, a little old-fashioned, though looks a wee bit out of place amidst the city's tall buildings, but we love it all the same. Much like its facade, the interior carries an antiquated charm to it. Vintage art pieces in rows of shelves, an extensive collection of book covers on the wall. It would have been nice to hang out here for hours on end, but even on the weekend, the place is still packed with people. Thankfully, Becca and Zach have already found seats and are engaged in some casual chatter when I arrive. It's strange seeing the two of them without Ash to accompany the other. They've never been particularly close. Sure, they talk when they meet, laugh at the same things when there's something funny, but there's distance, the kind born purely out of differing interests. That or Zach's simply afraid of Becca. It's not impossible, and I won't blame him if he is. He might be the tallest in our group, but everyone knows that it means nothing against Becca's temper. Even I am a little scared of her.
Zach! Becca!
Well, you seem to be in a better mood today. What happened? I know that smile, Belle. Come on, still.
Don't rush me. Let's order food first, okay?
A waitress comes by to take our order. On a normal day, me and Becca will order a hearty serving of their special vegetarian stovies. Zach takes anything with a good helping of meat, sausages, or potatoes in it, but today's a good day. Great, even. It's not wrong to indulge a little, right?
Special. For the three of us.
Even the person jotting down our order looks surprised at today's meal choice. She writes it nevertheless and leaves without a comment. Becca furrows her eyebrows, her mouth halfway open, ready to let loose what's likely a string of reprimands. The glare she sends my way reminds me of the one I received from Mama when I punched a kid bullying my younger brother 18 years ago. Naturally, I never did it again after she made me apologize the next day. But Becca's far from being my mom. A small, sheepish grin is enough to turn that frown into a defeated sigh. Food arrives in the middle of a funny story from Zach, putting the rest of the conversation on hold as we each serve our order. It isn't anything fancy. Ooh, pan-roasted sea bass with citrus-dressed asparagus and a portion of mashed potatoes on the side. Or at least that's what the daily special board says. I never did pay any attention to whenever I come here, since they're priced whatever written way above what I'm willing to.
So hungry, I think I'm dying.
Cheap ass.
You're always hungry.
Hey, not all the time.
Let me guess. You skipped breakfast again.
Not on purpose. I may have overslept by a few seconds today.
Right then. Stop stalling, Isabella. What's this about?
Let us say it, Rebecca. She wouldn't be inviting us out if it wasn't worth hearing out.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm treating you guys to a once-in-a-century thing.
An expectant grin breaks out on my face, except...
I'm sorry, say that again.
And this is important because...
Becca only raises an eyebrow at me, while Zach appears like he didn't get the punchline to another lame joke Ash made and is desperately searching for someone to explain it. Oh, bummer. Maybe I should rephrase it. Ladies and gentlemen, I will end it there. I'm going to end every single time after, after I get a decision. So, we're about to close the deal on the mansion. We got a little bonus. I just want to be done with this whole mansion so I can leave forever. I don't care what happens to anybody else. Give me my money and I can take care of my family. hopefully you all enjoyed it without the face cam, and I'm going to just definitely start tweaking on this mic a little bit more and start working on that. And I have no idea how long this game is, so I don't even know if we're close. But it's been an awful day of recording. I've been absolute trash at everything. But hopefully I'll enjoy, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend, or whenever the fuck this is coming out.